Hi, welcome to the stream. Welcome to a chill Monday. We're gonna work on a painting today. I don't know if you'll see it on the screen, but yes, we're working on a painting today for St. Jude, and I'm gonna let you guys help me pick out the colors today. I'll probably say that like 10 times as people join. But yeah, we're gonna work on this painting. This painting is also, for those that don't know, created, here, let me share a better view. This canvas is created by St. Jude. It is one of the survivors' drawings. And so we're gonna paint it today. And my highest donor at the end of the fundraising season on May 31st, I will reach out to them and donate this painting to them. So just letting you guys know that's what we're doing. But if you guys want to help me pick colors, that's where I'm starting today. First, I think I want to tape over the St. Jude logo because I kind of don't want to paint over that. I kind of want to leave that as part of the art. And if my music's too loud, let me know. I don't want you guys to have to struggle to hear me over the music, but the music is supposed to be relaxing. And I'm just gonna take it easy today. It was a long day and I'm super tired. But I look forward to doing this because this is so relaxing. Okay, I'm gonna cut it straight because I want to make like a straight line. I don't want it to be crooked. And then we're going to take it, make it longer than we need because we're gonna wrap it around the back of the painting. But this is actually painter's tape. So this painter's tape is gonna come in handy. We'll rotate this for a minute. And we're just going to put it right about right there. I think that looks good to me. I just want to not lose the logo. So whoever gets it remembers what the original was, and then I can sign it too. I'm sure by the time I get done, you probably won't be able to see any of the black lines, or maybe just a little bit of them. It's okay. I'm gonna take another piece and do this right here. You know what, I think I'm gonna do this all the way around. That'd be kind of cool. Like to leave the edges white, I think. Or should I frame the whole thing white? No, because I want to paint the rocket. If I did the tape all the way around the same one, you wouldn't be able to see the rocket. So I'm just gonna do the edges white. That way where the paint ends will be nice and clean. And so you guys can see what I'm doing here, kinda. See, I'm taking this and I'm putting it up here. And I just want to make it pretty even. But you can see it. And that'll be so cool, because when I take it off, it's just gonna leave the white of the canvas all the way around the ring. I don't want to do it like what if I left some white of the canvas in different spots too? Like totally taped up the whole thing? Nah. That's just getting a little wild, so I'm gonna talk myself out of that. Ugh. one more time with the painter's tape around the green. And then our prep work is done. So, seal it real good. Fingers, fingernails actually. Kind of scoring the edge a little bit. So that it will not bleed under the canvas through it. I think we're ready. Figure out which way is more that you guys can see. Scratch the canvas this way. Oh, that's further away from what you guys can see. Okay, now I know. Put my scissors back here. And we're gonna do this. I need to get a new, what is it, wrist bar thing for my keyboard? It's peeling. Does anybody else ever run into that? See, it's peeling. It's my razor one, but it's like peeling all over the place. I think I wore it out. It's peeling. I think it started because I wear a watch a lot of times, so I think the bands will like rub on it and started it peeling. So my bad. All right, we're gonna start with, I think, the background, of course, the sky, and maybe we should just do like a sunset, maybe? Like a pretty sunset, maybe. I'm thinking like 3 bands of color. You know, like where it's darker up here because of the space thing. And we can make it more like stars up there. Color here and a color here. So I'm gonna get out some colors. Most importantly, we're gonna need white. And you're gonna see me reach in here over here to my toolbox periodically of colors. Let's see. And I don't think I've ever looked at myself on full screen before. I just put it full screen over here because I was curious what you guys see. Things streamers do. We look at it, we go, oh. We're like, I think we judge ourselves way too hard sometimes. We're all human at the end of the day. All human at the end of the day. And my goal is to bring smiles to you. So, and to raise money for St. Jude's this month. But you guys know that, and you guys have done amazing. Turtle, welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the stream, Turtle. Here's a blue. We're gonna get blue. Kitty, hugs. Thank you so much for the hugs. Hugs are much appreciated. I need them today. Everybody has those days where they just feel a bit under the weather. Today's one of those days, and I think it's mostly because I don't always take care of myself like I should. Like I'm sure you guys can relate. Today I did not sleep as much as I should have. And let's be real, I probably won't tonight either. That happens. But this is relaxing and this makes me feel better. And you guys make me feel better, so here I am. Art is good therapy. That's why they have art therapy. I often wonder what it would be to be like an art therapist and teach art classes and do art therapy, like have like super relaxing music. I'm just afraid people might actually still get frustrated with painting because it can be. And I don't want people to get frustrated. Get some red. But yeah, if you see anything you guys would like to see as specific colors, shout me out. If you're just joining, I'm thinking about doing a sunset background first. And then this is supposed to be like a moon and a spaceship. But I'm seriously kind of thinking, what if this was a pizza? What if it was a pizza, not a moon? We can make it whatever we want. And it would be so cool. Meat. Oh. Is it meat? Is it a giant meatball? That would be kind of gross looking. It could be pizza though. Alright. We're gonna get some yellow out. And then I think we're gonna start putting some paint on this canvas because I don't want this to take as long as my normal paintings do to paint. I'd rather it get done in one day, but I don't know. It's probably gonna take two, knowing me. Knowing more, it will probably take 2 sessions to get it all done. Alright, I need a stiff, pointy brush. This brush is like, I think they typically call it like a boar's hair bristle brush. It's like super stiff versus like really soft, like fluffy watercolor brushes, and I use them for different things. This one's better for like moving paint around forcefully. And this one's better for smoothing out stuff and making like delicate strokes. So it just depends on what you're feeling like. Do I want to be delicate or do I want to be rough? It just sounds wrong. Anyway, here we go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think we're gonna go with the soft brush. But do I want this shape or this shape? I'll probably end up using both these soft brushes just because one's pointier. Get in the smaller places. That or I'll go with one that's even smaller. Like this one. So I'll just lay them here. Get started. Here, I'll put them here. Can y'all see them there? Yeah. You can see my crazy. I don't know if you noticed what I did here too. This is actually an upside down canvas to keep my mouse pad and my desk protected from paints. So whenever I paint a painting on this, the back side is gonna have art on it, like marks. So it'll be interesting. Somebody one day will get that painting that has stuff on the back. I'll be like, what was this? What does it mean? I'll be like, yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. Okay. Pliers over there. Leave my towel and my paint knife over here. I'm gonna dip into the magic sauce here and start with the lighter pink color of white and yellow. We're just gonna go into the details later because I don't want to leave the black lines, but I don't know. I feel like that's going to be harder than I think to do. And so how was everyone's Monday? Did you work today? Did you relax? I totally worked. Painting this edge if you're wondering. Let's see. It'll be cool when I peel off the tape though later, because then it'll make a natural white framed border. Cool beans. Alright, now I'm gonna take a little bit of this yellow. And we're gonna make like this burnt orangey color. And add a layer of that. I need a little bit of liquid. I'll make this blend a little smoother. And I'm using it's supposed to be like non-toxic mineral spirits is what I use. It's still toxic, of course, but it's less dangerous. I say that because I swear I feel dizzy afterwards, no matter what. Because my studio doesn't have the best ventilation. One day I will have a better ventilated studio. Shade, yay art! Hi Shade, welcome to the stream! Yes, we're doing art today. And how are you? How goes things and work and life? You're here to relax. Play some games in the background while you watch stream. Just chill with me. Very, very sick. I won't be going to work for a while. They sent me home today. Oh no! That is terrible. That's not the kind of days off work you want, right? But healthy days off work, not I'm so sick I gotta go home. Well, I do hope you get some rest, drink plenty of fluids, hot fluids maybe if you can, if they'll help clear your head, if it's head cold. Turtles lurking. And then I'm gonna get my other paintbrush out. A small pointy one we talked about. This one, so I can like fill in the little tiny spots a little better. So is there any discussion on what color we should make this monster? All thoughts and ideas are welcome. I'm not copying the original painting, by the way. There is an original by one of the survivors. And I have the colors here for kind of a reference, but I don't want to paint it exactly like that. Green and gray? I mean, the sky's green and blue, so that's pretty close. This is the original, but I'm making it my own, so And you guys can help. We have a vote for green and gray. I like the idea of green. Let's see. One sleeping giant! Welcome, 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 giant! Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the lurk, man. Thank you. No, he is gray with green spots. Hmm. And gray with green spots. Okay. I talked about being kind of wild with this painting, and I know it's supposed to be like space, but what if this was a pizza? What if we made this like a pizza? Like he's standing on a pizza instead of a moon. How do you guys feel like that? This looks like cheese and stuff. It could be a pizza. And if you weren't here earlier, this painting is, I'm going to mail out to the highest donor at the end of this event on May 31st. When the fundraiser is over for St. Jude, whoever donated the most during that time period, cumulatively, is gonna get the painting. I'm gonna mail it to them. That is the goal. That's my way of saying thank you. And also a way for you guys to remember St. Jude. And if you're curious what I covered up, it's the St. Jude logo. I want to preserve the logo and the fact that this was a survivor's piece of art. It's so cool. There. I'm just trying to squeeze in here and kind of make my line a little straighter across. Okay. And then every now and then I'm gonna turn this painting this way, kind of step back and make sure things are looking right. Alright, back to colors. I'm gonna do this. And need to add some liquid to that. Doing some child whimsy here with all the red. Childlike whimsy. All these colors. I'm gonna paint across real quick. That's a guideline. And here. Here. I'm also using my oil paints, not the paints that came with this canvas from St. Jude. So it'll be very bright, vibrant, colorful. I'm gonna blend this edge a little bit. The two colors meet. Hi Shane, welcome. Expecto Patronum! Let's see. How are you, Shane? Welcome to the stream. Getting there. Gotta make sure I'm doing these edges as I go. Yeah. And switch brushes again. And grab some of this red. I'm doing well, I hope you are. I am, thank you. I'm very tired, but I'm here. It was a long day at work, but that also makes it a good day for relaxing with some art. So, art is very relaxing and peaceful. I have votes on making the monster gray with green so far. And I have this wild idea of turning the moon rock he's standing on into a pizza moon rock. I kind of like the idea of him standing on a pizza. And we're gonna take some purple next. Purple. Just kind of making a wild sunset here. Do it straight across. Probably shouldn't have did that because I'm gonna have to figure out how to paint these hearts in a minute. Oh well. And I gotta figure out what color to paint them. Something just had me swipe all the way across. And I'm gonna have to paint them in color. So if you guys have any ideas on the heart balloons, let me know. What color balloons would you like to see? It's also pouring rain here all of a sudden. Don't tell rain. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and blend this edge a little bit. The two colors together. And then I'm going to go in here strategically and see if I can remove some of this purple I accidentally put out. Because I don't know what colors I want these yet. So I'm gonna use some reverse painting here to kind of blend out some of that color. You'll see what I'm doing. Tips and tricks. Applied a little mineral spirits. Nico, Dash, welcome to the stream. And now I'm going to strategically wipe some of this away. I don't have to get all of it, just enough that when it dries a hot minute, I can add the right color to the balloons. Perfect. It's kind of giving me an idea though. What if the balloons were transparent? What if the balloons were transparent? And there, put my paint towel back. Wipe my brush off really good, and now we're gonna go on to the blue sky. Thank you so much for the 34 months. Holy cow, Thor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much, much appreciated. Here. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. We're painting my St. Jude's painting. Our little monster. So, and I just got purple all over myself. Can't be trusted. Paint. It is a mess. And then I'm gonna take off my watch before I get paint on my watch, because that would be bad too. Yes. Oh yeah, so far. Let's show you guys again. We're on to blue for the sky. And we were taking suggestions. I had a suggestion to make the monster gray with the green spots, and then I was wondering if I should make the moon rock he's on actually a pizza. That would be interesting. And then I'm like taking suggestions on colors for the parts. So I'm open to suggestions for those. Some more blue. Make the moon cheese. It could be cheese. That would be cool. That'd be very kid-like and whimsy. I like that idea. I like it, I like it. Then now it's gonna be so covered in paint I can't touch the top. I may just do that, Thor. I like the idea of cheese, like holy cheese, like Swiss cheese, because of the moon circles and all those childhood things. The moon is cheese or whatever. I don't know where those come from, but I like that idea. Tell Lemon I said hi. I feel like I need my smaller brush now. I'm gonna have to do some serious blending at some point. And this may not dry as fast as I wanted to do a second coat of like things and stuff. So this might end up being 2 painting stream because I don't know how to do a 1 painting stream. Just don't. Gonna paint that edge real good. There. If I could do it in 2, I'd be doing good. Alright, smaller brush. It is about time to turn on my fan and open my studio door, so you guys may have to put up with the sounds of the air conditioning a little bit. Just so I don't die of fumes. We don't want that. There. Gonna paint very carefully around the rocket. I need some paint thinner. Very, very carefully. And then the moon cheese. That makes me want one of those Baby Bell cheese things. A little round Baby Bell cheese that comes in the yellow wax wrappers or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Baby Bells. I have a couple in the fridge. Now I need like precision pinpointing here. I should have probably got a smaller brush, but that's okay. There we go. Fix the edge of this heart and that one. And then we'll go back to blending this line again. Alright, I think we should work on the moon cheese. Moon cheese sounds awesome. Moon cheese it shall be. Do I want a different color brush? I need a different brush for that color, probably. I'll get a clean brush because I may want to use that brush again for these colors. So for cheese, we're gonna use like white and yellow mostly. Which now makes me think I shouldn't have painted like this yellow so close to the cheese. It'll be alright. We're just gonna make it really white cheese. Like cheesy. And we are going to paint over the lines on this one. I was leaving some of the black lines just because I don't mind them. I think it's like brings out the childhood whimsy of the piece. And I'll leave some respect to the original artist. Cheese. Say cheese to the moon, cheese. Take it. Start making some blotchy cheese marks where the natural little moon spot lines were that they drew. And then I think it adds to it. And then get some more white. And kind of highlight around these a little bit to make it stand out even more. Probably not quite wide enough, but I'm gonna start. Cheese. It looks crazy. It looks crazy. There. It's working its way away from me and away from you guys. There. It should be perfect circles because it's the moon. This edge a little wider. And maybe this side of the moon should be a little bit brighter than the other. Does my camera keep changing focus? Focusing on my arm instead of me. Thing. Focus on the painting camera, not me. Tell it. Focus right there. That's where I want you to focus. Stay. I don't think it's on the right setting to actually listen to me, but we'll try. A wild fruit frau appeared. I'm pretty sure I don't have that pink one. Did it work? There it goes. Full catch. Desi! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the 3-stream streak. Desi. Man, words are hard. 3-stream streak. Thank you. It's funny to have this painting straight up and down for you guys. I'm actually painting it from the side. Oh, cameras. Cameras these days. Okay, I think we can make one of the whatchamacallit's pink. One of the balloons. Should make one pink. Grab another brush. I use so many paintbrushes, it's crazy to clean them all when I'm done. Somebody wanna come clean all these brushes? Don't want to cover up the lines. Not exactly. Ta-da! Yay, I caught the Pokemon. Yeah. I think I'm definitely gonna spend two streams on this. One, because it's like I just get on a base coat of everything, and then the second stream I can apply details. Like just to make it look a little bit more thought out. Because I have to let it dry, if that makes sense. I'm using oil paint. So it's got to dry. Alright, maybe we need a green balloon, purple balloon, and a green balloon, maybe. Even though it's right on the purple band. I kind of want a light purple one. I feel like I'm using the wrong paintbrush for this though. Hold it still. Okay, we're switching paintbrushes. And we're gonna come in here. I think when I come back after everything dries, I'll put like stars in the sky too. To go with the rocket. Get some more white. And then I think we're gonna work on a green one. What shade of green will be determined by paint I already have out. Let's see if we can make it green. That looks decent. This is not looking decent. I might have to get the green paint. This looks like baby poop color. It's gross. I'm not using that. That's hideous. I'm not using that. I'm gonna grab the green paint. I'm not doing it. Alright. Let's see if I can get this to open. Green. Pretty green. You could use that for the monster spots too. It's my green brush. Green. Like a very bright leaf green. Very bright. Beautiful like nature. I think it works. And then someone said paint the monster gray. So we're gonna make it gray. Let's see what this gray looks like. Makes you wonder what the kid was thinking when they created this picture. doesn't look like monster represented, like cancer or anything. Maybe they just absolutely loved monsters. Or, what if there's actually like a little bit of a dark twist to it? Like the child sees themselves as a monster during the process. Such a difficult situation. Losing your hair and all that cannot be fun. I made the gray, if you want to know. It looks more purple on stream than it is, but it has a slight blue, purple tint to the gray. Definitely not as much as it looks on stream, because the camera changes the colors. But it's more like a gray with a soft. I hope you guys are enjoying stream and relaxing. I did add a bunch of crazy new incentives to the St. Jude thing finally. And I'm definitely open to changing some of them up and adding more as well. So if you're curious, do hit !donate and check it out. All feedback is appreciated. I went and polled many people this week and asked them, what are your ideas? What kind of incentives should I have? So tiny. I don't know how I'm gonna paint each one of those dots. I almost kind of like him exactly like this, like the balloons are shadowing his body. Oh my gosh, he looks so cool. Just like this. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make like even a lighter color. I like that. Hype. 6! Thanks for the Lashi. Welcome, 6. I hope you're hanging in there, man. And don't worry, I'm not done with the moon cheese yet. Just like in the thinking process on that. Need to grab some more white. Move my paint knife here. Thank you. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so this is a lighter shade of that current color. Just to come in and finish painting his body, but leave it that lighter shade in spots. So I'm a weirdo about like leaving unpainted portions of the canvas, but oh my gosh. I almost kind of like just his white spots too. Okay. Thank you for checking it out. Yeah. Any ideas you have on the incentives, please do. I may make the heart he is holding just like bright red. Okay, now I gotta figure out where to put green on my palette here for the spots on the body. I'm gonna use that same light green that's in the heart above, but a lighter shade of it for his spots. What's good? Hi, Nick Duffy. How are you? We're painting for St. Jude today. This is one of the children's original drawings. And so I'm painting it and like basically taking the stream suggestions. We're making moon cheese. And then this was the original Kids watercolor drawing, and then we're making an oil painting and doing our own thing with it. Hey J3, welcome to the stream. I'm doing good, Nick Dothy, thank you. Today was long and I don't know. I needed this today. Let's just say that I needed this. Hiya! J3, are you causing trouble today? J3's always up to no good, right? Bet J3's glad it's summertime. Summertime, J3. Not enough, no, been mild. Oh no! Okay, I gotta figure out why my camera's not focusing and staying focused, but I'm gonna have to fight with it. It normally doesn't do this. One more month? No. That does not sound like fun. Alright, camera, stay focused where I put you. Don't move. Could speed up a bit. Yeah, and then you get time off, right? Summertime. I love the summertime. It gets so nice and warm, and I can go to the beach. I'm excited to go to the beach. Me? You guys can see that. Alright, let's see. Zoom. 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 There. Putting little green dots on it. Oop. It's so cute. Little green monster dots. Alright. I gotta fix the body a little bit. Alright. Accidentally painted the dots over what I wanted. Not too bad. It's not quite wide enough though. Oh well. We'll do this. He's fuzzy. Oh no, the whole painting went. Stop. Camera. I gotta adjust my camera settings. Oh my gosh, Shane! Thank you so much. Holy cow. $50. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What is that? What is that? $7.90? I gotta look and see what the incentive was for this level. I don't even know. Let me look. It's gonna make me re-log in. Of course. I was logged in before stream, I'm telling you. It's not letting me log in. Why? Am I not going to be able to see my own page? I don't have to log in necessarily to see it. I like seeing it from the login page. So that puts us at 760? That's awesome. So we unlocked 10 minutes of ASMR. And KimonoKat outfit! Yes. So I will wear KimonoKat outfit for you guys next stream. And ASMR, we can totally do that like while I paint for 10 minutes. And just talk like in whisper mode, or I could actually do some things. So yeah, I got some ideas. You guys have to give me like 5 minutes and we'll do the ASMR thing. Ideas. I have all the ideas. I wonder if I can move my mic a little closer to help with things. That'll help a little bit. I don't have to sit up. But okay, I will be right back. I gotta grab some stuff. Okay. I got some stuff to do some ASMR sounds with. And of course, I'll talk quietly. And we'll go from there. No, what I need. Oh. Okay. This should be enough. Let's do this. Hello, Jude. We're painting for St. Jude, and we just unlocked a donation level of 10 minutes of ASMR. So I'm not a pro ASMR. I don't have the crazy equipment, but we're gonna do some sound things to just give you guys an idea. But welcome to the chat. I hope you're doing awesome. Hope you're doing awesome. All right. I need a timer. Because this is gonna be hard for me not to talk, loudly for 10 minutes. All right, and thank you again so much, Shane. Thank you. And maybe I should start on Big Me for a hot minute. There. And hi, welcome. Is it with brick? It's brick. I hope I said that right. It's brick. Wilt brick? I don't know, Wilt brick. Hopefully I said it right. Where's the hard Wilt brick? Okay, that's right. Oh no! Thanks! Welcome to the stream. He comes bursting in loudly as I'm fixing to do 10 minutes of ASMR. Because we just got that level unlocked. Also, if you're just joining, this is what I'm working on. Too. I'm working on a painting for St. Jude, guys. I'll zoom out. St. Jude provided the canvas, and I'm making an oil painting. The original drawing looked like this from one of the kids, but based on chat suggestions and things like that, we've been painting the colors, and the moon's eventually going to be moon cheese. So I'm going to drink some water, and then we're going to do 10 minutes of ASMR. I'm going to make various noises, talk quietly. And shut my studio door so the AC doesn't come on and interrupt everything. Like it just did. Alright, set the timer. Welcome everyone to KimonoKat ASMR. Turn down the music a little bit so you can hear me. We have various sounds we're going to be making. Hopefully you'll find them relaxing and not annoying. We'll find out how annoying they are. Oh no. The video, my mic is turned way too low. It's not picking. purposely muting it out. Like after a couple seconds of sound, it decides to mute it out. Try a different object and see what kind of sounds we get. And hear this one, there we go. I'm really curious what this sounds like on your end. I feel like this one. If you're just joining, welcome to St. Jude's Charity Stream, where we just redeemed 10 minutes of ASMR. And I should have prepared my mic settings for this, but I did not. Here we go. Can you hear? Is it like super loud in your headphones? I don't even know. Or can you not hear anything? The next thing, one thing we hate most as streamers are online with other people. Chocolate. That's crazy. This is much, much quieter than the noises I'm making with the items. Still have 4 minutes. Stand up in the mic. Because I have to get close to the mic for this to work properly. But yeah, thank you so much for donating to St. Jude. I also hear thunderstorming out there. It sounds really relaxing and peaceful right now. Yeah. It's good. It's so much better, but I can't because everything's in the way. So, yeah.
What should we talk about? I don't know. Cats, dogs, knees. Illus. I'm probably gonna get paint on myself or in my hair at this point. Yeah. Mike. The rain, the thunder, the lightning outside sound amazing. If I put this jar outside and the rain, you could hear it, the raindrops hit it. That was loud. Alarm when it goes off is gonna be super loud. We have 39 seconds. So yeah, there you go. 26, 25. As we slowly count, you fall asleep to the sound of my voice. 13, 12, 10. Skip a couple numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Pokemon.
I'm sorry, guys, to put you guys through that torture. I don't know whether it was more torture for me or for you, but trying to come up with things to make sound with and then realizing my microphone is set to not pick up random sounds like these was challenging to try to balance my voice and the items. So I learned a lot of things. And I do understand why people talk really quietly with ASMR mics in order to pick up all the items. And then they have to make sure their voice isn't overbearing. But that was cool, that was fun. Thank you guys. Thank you for putting up with me and my crazy ideas. And we'll get back to this drawing. If it stays focused on the picture like I want it to. Thanks for the lurk. Alright, now I gotta eat these peanuts though, because I'm starving. I saw food. And now I gotta eat food. At least it's healthy food this time. Not unhealthy food. I could have ate peanuts in the mic. It doesn't pick it up. I was thinking it would pick it up as I bite into it. But no. I've got it set so sensitive that it doesn't pick up me biting into chips and things. Welcome, Teague. But thank you all for watching me embarrass myself. It was rather fun. I'm gonna get back to working on painting in our little monster and his little cute heart. Mm. Goes to. I lost my dashboard. But yeah, guys, if you're just joining and lurking and listening, welcome to my stream. I'm a variety streamer. I play games like Stardew and community games and Genshin, and I do art streams. Chill games. Spicy peanuts? Nah. These are just salted, roasted and salted. I do have some at work that are honey roasted cashews. Oh my god. Honey roasted cashews are like candy. I want to eat them. Definitely the best kind. Let's go in and paint just his little art here. How cute. Just a little heart. And then we'll work on some more. Sweet. Plain sea salt is more healthy, to be fair. It is. And I got them on sale, like 2 bags, like buy one, get one free, so I always end up buying like 2. Otherwise, healthy food is so expensive. I hate that healthy snacks are so much more expensive than non-healthy snacks. I've heard in some countries it's the opposite. Like, healthy food is cheap. And all the snacks are expensive. only think we have it backwards here. We gotta work on those moon cheese some more, though. It's not looking cheesy enough. I kind of want to pull up a cheese reference. Just to work on it, too. Let's see. It's still so sticky. My hand just touched, like, just adding a bit of a shadow to his body. You know me, perfectionist. Eventually want to add all the details. I'm trying not to go too crazy, but I want it to look good at the same time. Like, I would like to finish this painting in 2 sessions, but also have it look respectable. To my style and such. Just those little tiny details I just did right there on the monster. Just make the monster pop so much more. He is so cute. Makes it go from being a very amateur piece to like more once you add those little bit of details. And I'm sorry my camera's not staying in focus. I swear I got the right settings on it. I don't know what it's doing. I'm gonna have to fix that. But he's so cool looking. And then I work some around the inside edge of the holes and use crescent shapes, darker shades, for the moon circles, yeah. G circles. Yeah, the crescent moon shapes like all the cartoon drawings have. I want to do it on the little green dots on his body, but that's just getting super fine and ridiculous because I'm able to zoom in more on the camera than it actually is, like, for me to see. So cute. Sayana! What? Be right back. Let's see. Evening, friend. Evening, Myrtle. I just wish my camera would stay focused. What does that button do? Alright. Some more colors for the moon cheese. Thank you so much for that lurk, Shane. Thank you. Thank you again for your donation. Very much appreciated. There. And a daylit. Gonna be some odd shaped crescents here. It's okay. I wish I was sleeping since it's raining. I might have to sleep soon. Deep craters, but that may not look much like cheese. Yeah. We're definitely trying to go for moon cheese. I think we'll even go darker in a minute. These random cheese craters everywhere. You love Swiss cheese. It's definitely the funnest cheese to draw. I like baby Swiss cheese. I'm not so much on regular Swiss cheese. It's pretty strong for me. Now, I will take regular Swiss cheese on like a mushroom Swiss burger or something because that's like a game changer then. I just don't like it so much plain, you know. Listen so softly. Hi, Rain. I'm glad you're alive. Welcome back. Welcome to our moon cheese. We're making moon cheese. Let's see. I think it's finally listening to me. The camera. Focus thingamajiggy. A turtle appeared. Catch the Pokemon. Rain, we did horrible 10-minute ASMR. We received another donation. I realized my camera is totally not set up for ASMR. It was hard to pick up certain things. Jeez. And let's smooth some of these out. Oh, the cheesy circles. And I'm purposely not making them perfect like actual cheese because it's the moon, you know? Don't want it super perfect. Try to add some shadow. Moon cheese shadows. Now these details aren't picking up very much, but not on the camera anyway. This just makes it look more lovely overall as a painting, whether they pick up on camera or not. Kind of like a glowy outer edge thing I got going on here. Just adding more depth to the piece. It's feeling cheesy. Guys, if you're just joining my stream and you're lurking and listening, just so you know, I'm a variety streamer. I normally play things like Stardew Valley a lot lately. Offline, I play a lot of Genshin. I used to stream that as well. I haven't in a while though. I also do lots of art, of course. I play golf with friends. I do community night events. And I'm here this month raising money for St. Jude's. Let's see. feel like some of them are like too much. Like the craters are just too strong. Oh, jeez. Gotta do it. There. Get in there. Maybe refer to the follow land routing for more crater details. Yeah. Actually referred to a block of cheese, because that's what I want it to be more like. I don't want it to look like the moon, per se. I want it to look like a child's variation of the moon. I think the problem is I just have way too many craters for one. It's like crater overload. Maybe I should make a few of them disappear and it would look more accurate. Like there's just too many. And they can still be there, they just need to be lighter, you know? I think it looks better already with like less of them. I think if I blend that one out. Later, folks. Have fun. Thank you. Thank you, Tank. Thank you for your tips and hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I will catch you next time you're around, man. It is getting late, isn't it? And then that one's kind of ugly. So we're going to get rid of that one. adding some layers of white texture, I guess you would say. Adding some texture. Moon cheese. Then I kind of want to just add like this big ol' kind of like shadow. The whole thing. It's gonna have to be darker than that though. I may have to come back in and paint moon cheese in the shadow. The craters again, because I painted over my craters. That's okay. I think the shadow is helpful. I don't need to do it like this way though. And then kind of like a little bit on this side as well, but not, I'm not gonna mess on my craters this time. And then white part comes back. I love how paint is just so forgiving. You can just keep painting on top of it, on top of it, on top of it. What happened to having the craters? The craters are being painted over while I do some shadow work. And then I'll add some craters back. I decided there was too many of them for one, and it was too dark. Or not dark enough, however you want to look at it, because the shadow, I feel like it needs shadow and lighting. Like it's not like a full moon or whatever. The sun is shining more on the top part. And you're gonna see like his little leggy shadows and stuff on the moon. I need to rotate it again. So I can see what I'm doing. There you go. See, we'll get some craters back in there. They're not gone forever. Hmm. Now we're gonna take it and come back in here. So this gets darker. And then these guys are gonna be a little bit darker down here because they're in the shadows. I still want some moon craters in the shadows. Oh jeez. They just gotta be darker. What else? Turtle, are you shaking your booty? Shake the booty. It's getting there. I feel like there needs to be some kind of shadow because of our little guy standing here. He's standing there, doing his thing. Hmm. There we go. Wonder how well I can blend some of this now that some of this other is dried a little bit. Sits in too much. This is kind of dry now, but not. I don't think it's completely dry. And it just kind of softens it. Somebody's probably gonna say, "Don't murder it." Drink water. Thank you, Nick Duffy. See. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I managed to get paint on my hand too. So I don't even know where that came from. Not even sure. There. It's softer looking, and I want to work on all the people. Hi, Shanti. Not a fart. I did not. I did no such thing. Welcome to the stream. So we're working on a painting for charity. The canvas was provided with the image already on it, and it's a survivor drawing of a St. Jude child who actually did it as a watercolor originally, but I'm doing it as an oil painting, and we decided that the moon was gonna be cheese. And so we made the moon cheese. Poop? No. No. No poop. And now I'm just trying to blend some of my lines out now that it's starting to dry a little bit already because of the ceiling fan. That, and I used lots of mineral spirits so that it would dry kind of fast. That way I could make it look pretty again. That's way too red. Oops. We may have messed up. Nah. Ruined. Draw me like a French model. This is you, right? Right? No. Called you a monster. Apparently. I'm like, I don't know which way to do this as I work on it. I keep rotating the canvas. I got more paint on me, I feel like, than on the canvas. There. I had to make it like an arc, like the moon itself. It's kind of cool. Wild Haunter. Wild Haunter. Don't look at me like that, Turtle. How good is Shocky? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Now we're gonna get in here with some purples. Repeat this arc a little bit. Not worried about it too much. Just really trying to blend it out and smooth it out, make it look not so streaky. The goal. Nobody call it Haunter. Sads. I don't know which way I want to put it. Poor Haunter. He didn't get to go home with anybody. Like, I gotta get my smaller brush out to get in that area. Now I'm being the weirdo that's like purposely putting streaks back in. Because I can't make up my mind. Like for the purple. There. It looks so cool. And now I made the blue. Grab the blue one back. No, I just got another color up here in the corner on the canvas. There, the foam print. And see what I'm painting on that edge? There. And we gotta figure out a rocket. We gotta paint that. That, and I feel like the hearts are quite done. You know. And if you guys didn't know, Nick Dothy is an artist as well. My hair is getting in the paint now. We don't need that. And licking. Alright. Work on this red heart. I can get all the purple out of my brush. That is not me. I don't know who that is. I am nobody's daddy. Nice try, though. I'm Daddy Turtle. Does that make Turtle Mommy? We're just gonna change up all the roles. I feel like I'm gonna have to redraw the strings of the balloons back on at some point. Because they don't really stand out anymore. I don't know. I was doing like a weird pattern with this thing, but that might work better. That's cool. I like that. Now I gotta go back and do it in the purple one. With the little lines in. Why is it yellow? There. Somehow I had gotten yellow on there. And I was like, no! That's cool. No. No, Myrtle, no. Myrtle's being weird. Let's see. Hugs Turtle. Turtle hugs Turtle. Turtle likes Pokemon. Community games. You licking all the bots. Is that what you're doing? Do robots taste good? Eat me up. Why? You didn't do anything wrong. Why would I beat you up? Now I need like an old like toothbrush to put like stars in the sky. And we still gotta paint the rocket. Maybe the rocket should just be like, of course, fire colors coming out the back and. It's gonna have to be a light color to show up. So maybe it'll just be kind of like a gray color, like the monster's body. Like that. A little rocket. We need some fire. Fire for the rocket. And then, I can't believe this, I might actually finish this tonight. I think it's almost done. What do you guys think? I think it's almost done. I'm kind of impressed about how much I've got done. Let's grab this color real quick. And this color. See if I can put this string back. There. Put the strings back. That one just needed a bit of an outline. Like, I feel like the outlines help because the original lines are missing. And then I want my stars. So are we gonna do it the messy toothbrush method, or am I just gonna sit here and poke a bunch of little individual dots one at a time? The toothbrush method is the best method, though, to be honest. Unless I have a paintbrush that I can, like, I'm gonna go look for a toothbrush or a paintbrush so we can put stars in the sky. They're probably gonna like cover up like parts that we don't want the stars to hit, like that. So I'll be back. See if we can mess it up now. Because this is going to make a huge mess all over my fingers. I'm going to have to clean it up. Alright, here's a brush. Get some really wet, whitish yellow. Actually, do I want white yellow or do I want blue purple? I think I want blue purple. I think the really light one. If this messes up, I'm gonna scream. So wish me luck. I don't want to make a huge mess. And then, come on, lid. This is always the scary part anytime you want to like add stars or something to a painting. They're grabbing! Screams. We're painting for St. Jude today. What do you think? Here's the original kids drawing. There's the kids drawing. And then there's mine. Looks awesome, thank you. We're fixing to mess it up. We're gonna use a toothbrush and we're gonna spray it to create stars. Looks awesome, thank you. And we're gonna cover that up. Actually, I probably want more than that to cover up. I'm gonna cover up that. And just in case, we're gonna cover up like that much. If it'll stay. Might have to weigh it down. And then we're gonna take the toothbrush and dip it in the paint. And I'm gonna do a test flick, which did not do at all what I wanted it to, so that's a good reason we did a test. I think the last time I did this, I used acrylic. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. Oh my gosh! You burnt yourself. You shouldn't play with matches. Alright, we're gonna... I'm scared. This is where you're gonna go. Ruined it. Okay. It's working. Here we go, fingers crossed. How'd you learn? Painting classes. There's some stars. Okay, now I need a little bit lighter and I want heavier. I don't think I have any lighter though. Alright. There. So. There. It looks kind of like a... mess up, just blame Wayne? What does that mean? Who's we? Okay, and then I'm gonna put in a couple like defined stars that are like really like on purpose. So that you know the other stars are stars, kind of things. I have learned it's definitely easier to flick paint with acrylic paint though. The oil paint was such a mess. It's gonna take me forever to get it off my fingers now. But yeah, I've been drawing and painting since I was a tiny little kid, McGrubby. It's just something I've always done. And then I did take some art classes in high school and college. Michigan ran, hides in safe place. Welcome, Michigan. Kissing yourself out there. What do you think? Let's see, where is that at? Right here. Oh! Gosh. Oops, splash. Kick for kick. Let's lick. Ah, do I know you? Maybe. Long time no see, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan shows up as I'm ending, about to end stream, right? Sounds about right. But some of us have to sleep for work, and it's already. Oh, we don't want to talk about what time it is. But I'm happy with it. Now I have to take the tape off all the way around, and I have to sign it. So if you guys were wondering, we put tape on the bottom to hide the St. Jude logo because I wanted to leave it on the piece. Maybe I should approach it at a different angle. I didn't want to remove this. I didn't want to paint over the St. Jude logo because this piece is going to the top donor. As of May 31st, the top donor collectively is going to get this painting for me. So whoever donated the most to St. Jude this month will get the painting. Yeah, pretty much just seeing. See what I'm doing? I'm taking the tape off. It's not very attractive, but you can see it makes it a clean white edge all the way around. Probably except for when my paint grubby fingers touch it. So there might be a little bit of a bleed over. And then we have to get this corner piece off and off the logo. And somehow I missed a piece of tape back here. A little tiny piece. Get off. I can't get it off. Maybe it's paint. No, it's definitely a piece of tape. A little tiny piece of tape I'm fighting with. There we go. Okay, all the tape's off. There you go. And you get to see the St. Jude label on it. And then I gotta sign it as well. Is that up and down? That's the right direction for you guys. I'm just gonna move the toothbrush so you can see it. And I could zoom out a little bit now. Ooh, I don't want to get paint on my camera though. There you go. I just gotta sign it. It's done. Let's see, what do I want to sign it with? I usually like to sign with a black paint marker, or a paint marker, but I don't have a black one, I don't think. Look. Maybe I don't need to use black, maybe I'll use purple. Pink. Let's sign it with pink. Pink. If I could shake this paint marker. Ah. I'm gonna test it real quick because they have not been used in forever. I could use the paintbrush, but if this doesn't work, I'll use a paintbrush. Perfect. Now where am I signing it at? In the moon cheese corner? Am I signing it right here? Or right here? Or over here? Never signed a painting on this side. It feels like it's appropriate for weight purposes to sign it on this side. There it is. You know what would be cute? A little cat face. There you go. It is signed. Now it just has to dry for 5 million years. And I have to clean up a ton of paint that's everywhere. I didn't use the paint knife this this time, surprisingly. And then I'm going to move this. My hand itches. Time to clean all the paint markers. Paint brushes. I am tired. Alright, let's find a clean spot on my paint towel. First you wipe all the excess paint off these, and then you dip them in the mineral spirits, and then you swirl it around really good, and then you wipe it on the towel again. And then after stream, I actually take these and wash them in dish soap too. And the last step, if you want to really preserve your brushes, is to put some hairspray on them and make them all pointy again so that the hairspray dries them pointy again. That's a trick. If you guys have any better tricks than that, let me know. But all those oils in the brush will dry, like that paint will dry like rock hard if you don't clean your brushes right away. It'll ruin your brushes. The oil paint will. I appreciate you guys for being here and hanging out and helping reach further toward our St. Jude's goal. I can't believe it, 760. We unlocked Pikachu onesies, so next stream, I'll wear the Pikachu onesie. And who knows, depending on when the stream is, it might be the slime stream we unlocked too. I have all this crazy slime stuff to play with. So, who knows? That'll go here. Alright, I'm washing my hands real quick before I touch the keyboard. I'm back. I'm back. But thank you all again for hanging out, watching stream, and me completing this painting of Moon Cheese Monster in one setting. There we go. You can see it a little better that way. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. I think it turned out amazing. I'm very happy with it. It's so cute. But you guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for listening. And I will catch you guys next stream. Next stream is scheduled for Friday. It's scheduled for community night, but I've gotten my nights mixed up lately, so it may actually be a Stardew night. Just because I've got them swapped around. And, but you never know when there'll be a surprise stream. I mean, I got that slime stuff that, I don't know, we're gonna play with it and figure it out. It's, I don't know, St. Jude's gave it to me, so we're just gonna play with it. Why not? Check it out. I'm gonna be a kid, enjoy myself. I can't wait to ever show it to you guys. But thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the drink waters and the hugs and all that good stuff. But yeah, I just saw an old posture check thing, so it reminded me to posture check. But I hope you guys do great, and I will see you guys. Oh, and my thing has not been scrolling for like a little while. Someone donate $2.50. Having mistakes. I love the patient. Made the artwork. Yes, me too. Me too. Why $2.50? What's a $2.50? I don't even want to know. Oh, because we made it past 7. We were at 760. Yeah. If somebody did 240, we'd be at 1,000, and you guys would get the kimono and a kimono stream. I can't believe we raised this much money, guys. I can't believe it. It's really awesome. Thumbs out to you guys too. But yeah, stretch. Good night. Sleep well. I still gotta go to work tomorrow. Yay! It's gonna be live off energy drink today, tomorrow. So wish me luck. Good night, all. Sweet dreams. Take care, and I'll see you guys, as I say, on the flip side. Bye.